Hi, it's me, David.
And Azu from the Hobby Hangout Podcast.
Thank you for joining us on these special videos for the Family Day long weekend here in Canada. We've put together a series of videos grouping games around couples, new gamers, kids, strategy, and party games. This video will be focused on strategy games, highlighting games that we've experienced and we've played. And on the screen, as we speak to the games and why we enjoy the games, we'll be highlighting the player count, the recommended age, the play time, as well as the amount of space the game itself takes to play. All right, so let's get started. Would you
Okay,
like me to go first or you?
I will go first.
All right,
Okay,
take it
so
away.
I'm gonna start with Flamecraft. I really like the visuals of this game. They're very vibrant, I guess, the colors.
It's such a beautiful game.
It is, yes. You have certain stores that you're building up on. And the nice thing of this one is that even though it is an individual game, as in, you have to win for yourself, everyone is still building onto the same stores. So whatever benefits that someone else is putting in there, you get to benefit from them as well. But it's still very challenging. And so you're trying to get the most points on the track. You have your little dragon that you move around. It may take a little bit of time for someone that is new to it to start figuring it out. But I think that the actions are very repetitive and it concentrates more on the strategy. How are you going to go for the win? And what stores to visit and different actions that you can take within each of those stores. But yeah, I think, the strategy is really nice, but I think for me, it's the visual aspect of it that I really like.
Yeah. For me, I'll highlight Jamaica. I like that aspect of, having so many players. It can play up to, I think, 6 players. But having that aspect of not just trying to get around the board, but also timing where you're going to land so that you can potentially either have the combats that you want to have so you can steal resources from people, try and time your movements so that people are not attacking you and taking away the resources that you're hoarding or building up, right? So having that element of trying to plan your moves, because you're kind of set with what you have in your hand, so you're kind of limited. But being able to time it and make sure you're not landing on spaces that are going to cost you. That's that part of that game I really like. And it's also driven by sort of who wants to get to that end first and trigger that end round and versus trying to take a longer route potentially to get more points.
And there's there's chance too as well, right? Because you're throwing a die to be able to know how far you can go. So there's strategy, but also mixed in with that randomness. My next pick is going to be Taiwanaku. This game, it gives me some sort of like Sudoku vibes, but then also
Minesweeper on the computer. Yeah.
Right. This is not a cooperative game, but at the same time, everyone is working within the same board. So whatever someone else's outcomes are, they can help you. And so basically you are discovering land. And the one thing that I really like about it is that there's this wheel. You have to put the coordinates and then figure out what type of land it is. So being able to touch that wheel is pretty nice to do. The other thing, and this is why I said that it gives me Sudoku vibes, is that once you have those pieces of land, they still have tokens that have a value. And so you have to be able to guess what value that is going to be. The components were very well designed and visually attractive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's I think it's a unique game. I don't think that I have played anything similar to that. Yeah.
All right. So that brings me to one of my selections here, which is Earth. I like this game, maybe driven by my background in science and biology, but overall, I think I just like the aspect of trying to build your island and how you choose to build your island here in this game, right? Whether you want to focus on the environment and the landscape versus the animals or the plants and trees. There's a lot of different ways to build your island, and I like that flexibility. There's just so many different ways to score points in the game. It just feels like a very intricate puzzle that you can move the pieces around and build something that's unique to yourself versus what other people are building and what objectives they're trying to hit. But it's still interactive with everyone, and you're all feeding off of common goals that everyone's trying to achieve. So that's why I like the Earth game. To me, it's just a unique puzzle that, again, not quite as complex or not quite as unique as Tiwanaku, but still it's different and something I haven't experienced too often in other games.
Mm-hmm. Okay, for my last pick, I'm going to go for Skull King. The one thing that I really like about that game is that it's very easy to explain because it uses suits and numbers, just like a regular deck of cards. It does include some other cards that are going to do something slightly different. I really like the betting aspect
The betting
of it.
aspect, yeah.
Yes. Each of the rounds, you're going to have to bet on how many hands you think you're going to win. And so you go 1, 2, 3, and then you do your number. And it's like the reaction of seeing like everyone's numbers, and it's like, wait, no, it's impossible, right?
The one thing I like about the betting aspect is that there's sort of two sides to it, right? It's betting what you think you can win, but then also seeing what everyone else bets so you can try and screw them over and make sure they don't get what they win. All right, so this brings me to my last selection on strategy, which is Wonderlands War. This is definitely a very large game. There's a lot of components to it, and it can be a little overwhelming to set it up and get it going. But once you start getting into it and getting into the flow of it with everybody, I do enjoy it a lot, especially once everyone understands the full sort of two phases of the game. From the tea party moving to the war phase or the battle phase, the cards that you're selecting from the tea party, the random discs that you're collecting in your bag, upgrading your main character, how you're recruiting people in the battles. It's just there's so many things to keep in mind as you're playing the game, and different levers that you can pull in the game to get points. It's not just one thing that everybody's trying to get. So that's one thing I really enjoy about that game.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. I hope that there's new games, perhaps, that you haven't played that maybe you're interested in, or, like maybe you already have them and now you're going to be introducing them to your family and friends. Well, we hope that you have a great long weekend. Happy Family Day.
Yeah. Till next time.
Bye.
Bye.